using ORIM with families in early years settings.
For over 20 years, schools, preschool settings and community groups have been using real project approaches to work in partnership with parents so that they can do more to support their young children's literacy development. At the heart of our original work was home visiting. It proved to be very effective as a way of sharing knowledge with parents about early literacy development and how parents could enhance their children's learning. Over the years, many settings have developed real project approaches using the ORIM framework to share ideas with parents. While home visiting and working one-to-one with parents has been very successful, we know that limited funding means that it's not always possible for settings to do this. They have found innovative ways to share important information about what parents can do to support their children at home by running occasional workshops and special events for parents. And that's what this film is about. Peter Hannon explains the 4 elements of the ORIM framework that we were focusing on.
Four things: children's opportunities to engage with literacy, written language, how they were their achievements were recognised by families and other important people in their communities, how we were trying to change the interaction between parents and children, and very interestingly to me, how children were being exposed to users of written language, whether they were parents or older siblings and so on. So that led to the construction of this ORIM framework, which could be applied, as you'll see in the rest of this film, to different strands of early literacy. And what then happened is we were able to use this in the REAL project as a map of intervention possibilities, which proved very useful in generating ideas of working with families.
I've been involved in the REAL project from the very beginning. 20 odd years ago, I was part of the trial initially, and then was one of the original teachers that visited children at home with their families. So 20 odd years have been associated with the REAL project, and obviously since then, as a head teacher and as previously a deputy head teacher, we've actually taken some of those ideas from the project, the ORIM framework, and used it in lots of different ways with children and families, and are continuing to do so today.
Playing at shopping, or shopping for real, helps children focus on the usefulness of print and how it can be used in everyday life. Writing a list before going shopping can help with understanding some of the purposes of writing. In this workshop for families, children and their adults write lists together before going to the play shop.
At Broome Hall, one of the things that we've done since I've been here over the last 5 years is actually bringing the REAL project into school and encouraging parents to stay every term for a workshop where they just stay at the beginning of the session for an hour with their child, and lots of activities are set out to show them ideas of things that they could do with their child at home.
Using packaging from home helps children focus on letters, sounds and logos. Parents can show recognition of what their children know about these aspects of literacy. Opportunities to use literacy in their role play shows how much young children know about writing and reading. From a very young age, most children experience a world full of print. Cards, clothing, road signs, street names, letters, magazines, text messages, digital media. These are ever present in children's lives, at home and in their communities. This environmental print treasure hunt in a nursery school garden has been organised to show parents how their involvement in spotting and talking about print can support early understanding of the role and power of the written word, and how reading is more than reading books. Parents and children interacting together along the trail enjoy finding various signs, logos, words and letters that are in their everyday environment. Sharing ideas around spotting print when outdoors helps parents to make a point of looking for print in everyday activities. Young children are often able from quite a young age to spot familiar logos long before they can read. This gives them an understanding that pictures, symbols and words mean something, which can ignite their interest in what words have to tell us. There often comes a point when children are discovering that words carry meaning, and they point to a sign and ask, "What does that say?" or point to a letter and say, "That's my name." These are all part of the jigsaw that eventually comes together, enabling children to become skilled and keen users of print. The world of children's publishing now means that there are beautiful books available for children. Some are now classics that have stood the test of time, and parents find themselves reading books to their children that were part of their own childhood. Books can be used indoors and outdoors. Children may own some books of their own, as well as borrowing books from their school or early years setting.
We see parents reading to the children every day in nursery, and it's about just flagging up the importance of that, about their interactions with their child.
Today we're having a Saturday special based on stories because we're really into stories at the moment. So each room the children are telling stories, making up stories, reading stories. So we're just sharing that with all of the families. So it's a chance for parents and other family members, so big brothers and sisters come, grandparents come, all sorts of friends come. We invite everybody into the nursery for a couple of hours on a Saturday, and they're all going to take part in those stories. Staff are here to support them, and then we'll share some lunch together. So it's a social community occasion with lots of learning behind it.
This workshop for families is taking place on a Saturday morning in half term to share a love of stories. It offers additional opportunities for children and parents to interact together around their favourite stories and books that are new to them.
We go to the library a lot, and they like playing at the library, but then they like bringing the books home to read.
Yeah,
they don't necessarily read at the library.
Because there's all the toys there, and we have a really good library really locally.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, they like going to the library, they like reading. Jacob, both of them as little ones are backed into your lap with a book, and you can't do anything else because they want to read the book.
That's so lovely.
Yeah.
These settings have all made a point of sharing ideas with fathers as well as mothers, because traditionally it has been mothers who have been involved. But of course, fathers have an important role too. It's sometimes just a case of finding the best way to help them get involved. Something that the REAL project and settings using REAL project approaches have been particularly successful in doing.
We have both books, and we tell them in different languages as well, because I'm Brazilian, so I tell the story in Portuguese, then my wife tells in Italian, the same book. And I feel that often similar stories she gets told here in English.
And we've got the Alan Scary Tea book here, and we read that in English, and I know she has that at home. So she often brings this and says en casa, en casa.
I think it's nice because when she hears the same story in 3 different languages, I think that's when she starts understanding that things can be told in different languages. And then, I think she's very switched on because of that. Daddy speaks Portuguese, Mama speaks Italian, and that he is English. So she really understands there is such a thing as 3 languages.
We get children here that sometimes don't have any English language at all, and our staff speak more than 1 language, in Urdu, Gujarati, Arabic, English of course, so children can interact in all these languages, which makes it very, very easy for children and staff to get along. And as it's the first step, it's fantastic. I mean, children just excel.
Enjoying books together is a key part of literacy, and talking about the pictures is crucial to developing understanding of stories and storying.
One thing we really wanted to do was make this an opportunity where parents can pick up skills here and take them home. We do this in a number of ways. We have a stay and play session where they can pick up skills and do them at home and practice at home as well.
Parents can share in writing with their children. recognising their achievements as they develop the skills they need to become writers. Having information for parents to take away and early years practitioners being available to talk with parents about how writing develops means that parents know more about the significance of what might be called scribble and can see how simple circular marks can eventually develop into conventionally recognisable letters. When parents spend time writing with their children, even when they are doing what many might call scribble, they are acting as important and powerful models of writers, which children will eventually want to imitate. And children can be encouraged to make their own books, all part of understanding how books work and the sequence of a story. Writing their own name becomes very important for young children, and they often play with the order of the letters they know to make new sequences to represent other words.
Parents actually know a lot about their children, but the recognition part of ORIM just gives them, again, just something to focus on, and the jigsaws that we use with the parents actually highlight some of the skills that children have already got, and parents find it wonderful once they know what it is that they're looking for and what skills are important.
I was really excited this morning, the first time my son came to me with a piece of paper and he'd actually made a list, and it was just marks on a small piece of paper, and he said he was the police and this was the list of his clues of the criminals that he was going after.
Well, that's fantastic, putting writing into his role play, isn't it? And
it's the first time that's happened, so I was just so pleased.
So you've obviously, recognising what he can do, which is really brilliant.
Yeah.
Part of the real project is of this jigsaw, so it's about being able to recognise some of the things, so about when he makes marks on paper.
Oh, and ideas of writing in play, I suppose that's that really, isn't it?
That's absolutely, so you could colour that in and see that some of the steps that he's made already in his mark making.
Yeah.
And he knows about writing, doesn't he? He knows he's a writer,
exactly,
that he's writing for a purpose, so that's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, so I was trying to encourage him with it, and I hope he'll carry on and feel inspired. Definitely.
And it's about you as a parent, actually recognising and praising and interacting what he's been doing with the mark making. So that's absolutely fantastic.
Young children enjoy mark making and writing with their parents. This workshop provides an opportunity for a father to enjoy sharing mark making with his daughter. And when children learn that writing can convey meaning, they can dictate their own stories to go with their drawings, which can be read again later.
For safety. Yes?
Yes.
That's it?
Yeah. For hats, for safety, for dangerous bottom.
Making marks in sand. On a touch screen. Physical movement. Water and paintbrushes. All of these opportunities can help children when they later come to represent those movements in letter-like marks. Opportunities for children to draw helps towards writing too, as they gradually begin to make all the marks they need to write the conventional letters in the alphabets of many languages. As well as being a pleasure, drawing is a key part of becoming a writer.
Obviously ORIM, the opportunities, parents sometimes struggle for ideas about how they can help their children with literacy, and I think the ORIM framework gives people a focus about the opportunities that parents can provide for their children at home. It doesn't have to be elaborate, it doesn't have to be expensive, but actually looking at what they've got in the home. So those paintbrushes that are under the sink, using those to mark make in the garden with water in a bucket, etc. So it's about just giving parents that idea, that crux of where you can start, so the opportunities.
So, making marks outdoors with chalk or with sticks in mud all help children to develop the skills they need for writing, and they're having fun at the same time. It's interesting to see that by the time children are including a son, or hands with lots of fingers, or bicycle wheels with spokes, they are in a position to write all the letters in the English alphabet. Role play can help to develop children's talk and language skills. Playing with letters can help children to become familiar with their shapes, how they are formed, their names and sounds. As they become accustomed to handling and moving letters, and in interaction with adults, children gradually develop the ability to use letters to make their own name, the names of family members and other words. Magnetic letters on the fridge at home provide an opportunity for children to play with letters and reorder them during the course of their everyday lives.
Lola, look. Eyes. Can you make some eyes?
Parents can help their children make characters from traditional tales, which they can take home and share again together.
Eyes. And eyes. Oh, that's nice eyes, isn't it? Mama. Can you help me, Lola? Oh, look at that, a big smiley mouth. Oh, there's
Let me come in.
And telling stories with toys and props, as well as reading stories from books, adds to children's repertoire of words, plots and storying. Making their own gingerbread man adds to the children's engagement in this traditional tale. And sharing familiar stories again and again helps children to enjoy becoming storytellers themselves. Singing and saying traditional nursery rhymes and modern songs and jingles can help children to develop phonological awareness, the beginning and end sounds of words known as onset and rhyme. As children begin to play with alliteration and rhyming words, they learn more about how words are made up of a series of different sounds. Sharing rhymes and songs together are fun ways to support the development of sounds and phonological awareness. Parents may know the words of traditional versions of rhymes. Sometimes it's fun to make up their own.
On the street, if you see a crocodile, don't forget to scream. Going on a bear.
Some chanting rhymes are now well known to many families.
We're not scared.
Singing songs with repeated lines helps children to become familiar with rhyming, and including their names gives them a central place in the rhyme, making them feel special.
Obviously, I firmly believe that parents are the children's first educators. Children don't come to us in nursery as empty vessels. They've already learnt so much at home, and I think that relationship that they have with the parents see their children much more than we do, and I just think that the relationship that they've got, that warmth, that closeness that they have with their parents is actually makes sharing books in particular really, really important.
In this film, we've shown you just some of the ways of sharing real project approaches to early literacy development. We've looked at 4 strands of early literacy development: environmental print, books, early writing and talk. And we've shown how parents can be supported by early year settings to provide opportunities, to show recognition, to interact with their children and to be models of readers and writers for their children. When early years experts share their knowledge and enthusiasm for early literacy with parents, they maximise the likelihood that children will engage in literacy in their everyday lives at home. Parents are more confident and they know more, and they're in a better position to help their children become confident and enthusiastic readers and writers.
If you want to know more about real approaches to working with parents on early literacy development and using ORIM in your setting, you are welcome to join the ORIM network. For more information, visit the ORIM network website.